This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, very good evening. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So let's not waste more time. Let's begin. So hello all and welcome to this workshop on JMeter. So this will be a very fast track session because generally my JMeter sessions are of 40 hours. So I am trying here to give you whatever I can in these 2 hours. So mainly I will be focusing on JMeter because that's what the workshop is all about. But at the same time, I want to also give you an understanding of
అది
performance
చూసి
testing
ఏదో దేవం
in a
ఉండే
very
కదా
high level way. If somebody is not speaking, can they go on
అదే
mute?
కదా నాగతో మధ్యాహ్నం కూడా వెళ్ళేదే కదా సరే చూసి పది
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I will. So what the agenda will be, right, for this session? Initially, we will start with performance testing basics very quickly, and then we will be moving on to the JMeter installation, downloading, and basic recording, like how you record a script in JMeter. We'll try to understand how the JMeter really works. What are the uh, benefits of using JMeter in your organization, and what are some various elements used in JMeter? How you can create a quick script out of JMeter and how you run it, how you try to monitor it, how you generate a report out of it. All this in a very high level way, okay? Because as I said, generally this takes around 40 hours, right, for the complete course, which I am planning to give you in this 2 hours of your time. Okay. So what I will do is whenever there will be any doubts or questions, you can in just raise your hands and keep it. So when as soon as I finish that small chunk of topic, I will come back to take the questions. Okay. So and yeah. So any questions, anyone before I start? Anything you're anticipating or anything you want to know from this course or workshop? I'll say. Okay. Right. So how many of you are from performance? Quickly raise your hands from performance background. Yeah, Akansha. Okay, next. Let's be quick in this session, okay, because it's we have this beautiful 2 hours, okay. So let's try to make full out of it. So only Akanksha. Okay, right, right. So before I start, I begin. Happy Navratri to all. Okay, since we are into Navratri already, and it's a good time you are starting your journey of knowledge in Navratri. Okay, so let's hope like you get a very fruitful result out of this. Okay, in your career and your skill upgrade or whichever way it will be. Okay, right, right. So this question is to all of you. So what is the main objective of performance testing? Like, what's your understanding from whatever you know till now? Anyone? Hello? Anyone? So be free to speak up, okay? It's like we are all here to learn, right? No one is right or wrong here. So feel free to ask, like I mean, like call out anything, whatever is in your mind, because that way you will know with whatever is right or wrong, right? So please feel free, right? Gunjan, you can go ahead.
Yeah, performance testing is actually testing the performance of web application or mobile application in
Mm-hmm.
different circumstances, like the load or number of users or server conditions or such kind of things.
Okay, right. So see, let me put one question, okay? So let's say you are building an application. It's your application, okay? You are a business and you have an application, and you want to say that my application is performing well. So what will be your criteria? Or like in a layman term, what all things you will see? Like, okay, the performance is good of my application. Anyone? No, it's not
First,
only for Gunjan. Yeah,
this is for
yeah.
like everyone, but I will say that if
Sure, sure.
the
Yeah, yeah.
response of app is good for everyone, nobody is
Mm.
complaining of that this your web app is not responding or
Mm-hmm.
responding late, delay,
Okay.
something.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
for the main.
right. Okay. Animesh, go ahead. You raise your hand.
Yeah, so all these are based upon So what performance testing is? Performance testing is testing of non-functional requirement. So in testing, we have functional requirement and non-functional requirement. The functional
Yeah.
requirement is what we are building in, and
Mm-hmm.
non-functional requirement is whatever we have built, how efficient it is. So check.
Mm-hmm.
So how efficient our application is. So all these things listed in our NFR, that what would be the response time, how many user that we are expecting, and all those things. A basic idea, it's always been given into NFRs. On the basis
Yeah.
of that, we do the performance testing.
Exactly, right. Thank you, Gunjan and Animesh. Yes. So that pretty much summarizes things, right? So ultimately, performance testing is all about how your application will behave, okay, when there is a heavy load on your system. So especially load means users, right? In a very simple way, how your application behaves under heavy load, and is your application stable? Stable means like, see, when there is a 10 user load or 50 user load, let's say you are loading a page, is the page or is the page stable? Like, okay, it is, let's say the page is open and it is still open, or like it's crashing after some time. Even that can happen, right? So stability is a very important thing also, right? So that's why whenever you see the definition of performance, we speak about load and stability. Okay, so let me share my screen quickly. I hope my screen is visible to all, right? Do let me know if there is any lag or something. Okay, right. So that's where whenever you speak about, or whenever you hear about performance testing, these two words come into picture. Okay, load and stability. Now exactly as Animesh said, right, it is a non-functional requirement. It is one of the non-functional requirement, right? NFR, or we can say non-functional domain, is covered by many things, right? Not only performance, it is security testing, it is performance testing, user acceptance testing, lot of testings, right? Which comes under non-functional. So non-functional, when we say performance testing, comes under non-functional. So it's not a functional thing, right? Okay, so what is functional? Okay, when a button click happens, it should let's say it should give 1 plus 1, or it should give 2 plus 2. That's a functional thing, right? That we are not worried about, because it doesn't change with respect to user. Like if I put 10 user, 20 user, will the result change? No. But when I increase the number of users, or when more number of users are using that application, what changes, right? That we study in performance testing, right? So that is about load and stability. Now when I say load and stability, as a definition, it looks good. Okay. But what if, what are the metrics, right? We look for, okay, to say a system is good under load or stability. So there are two metrics, especially, okay, in performance, which we worry a lot: throughput and response time. Okay, so throughput and response time are the two important metrics, too much important, okay, in performance testing, which we which actually is a KPI, or we can say a key point indicator showing your application is performing very well. Okay, now how does this throughput and response time show the load and stability of a system, right? See, now whichever application is stable, okay, so what is throughput, right? Throughput is nothing but, let's say I plot. Now there might be a lot of things, maybe which might be little new to you, some terminologies like transaction and all. If you are not aware, obviously I will try to cover it in a very high level way. But as I said, this is a small 2 hours workshop, right? So I might not be able to go into everything in depth, okay, because we might lose on the main topic of JMeter. But I will make sure that whatever I am giving you, you are understanding at least in a high level. Okay. So transaction is nothing but, like, let's say I'm ordering, I'm logging in. So all those are transactions. Okay. Ordering, login, and all those. Okay. Now let's say I'm plotting. This is 1 a.m. Okay. 1:30 a.m. I'm just plotting a graph. Okay. 2 a.m. and let's say 3 a.m. I'm starting my test at 1 a.m. Okay. Until 3 a.m. I am plotting the number of transactions that is happening. Like, is it 10 orders happening, 20 orders happening, 30 orders happening. How is it happening, right? I'm just plotting that with respect to time. So this is 10, 20, 30. Okay. So let's say now in this graph, okay, this is the one, let's say graph A, and let's say there is one more graph. Now out of these two graphs, okay, let's say A is one application with some settings, okay, and B is that same application with some other setting. Which one, A or B, which you think is a bit more stable as an application, A or B? So this is basically, let's say at 1 a.m. it was 10 orders per 10 orders per minute or whatever, 10 orders per minute that was happening, okay, and at let's say 1:30 it was 20 orders, it is 30 orders, okay. Now the beauty of this is both of this, right? Now all this is happening with constant users, okay, 100 users always. It's always 100 users, okay. So 10 orders per minute is happening sometimes, 30 orders is happening, 20 orders is happening, but at various times, but the user count is still same always. But here in this case, it is always around 15 orders per minute. It's not changing much. So out of this A and B, which do you think is a stable application? Like which is saying, okay, I can predict something, okay, or like I can say, yeah, this with this graph I can predict, okay, this many orders will happen or whatever. That prediction is easy. Which one, A or B?
A.
A, right? Yes. So A is stable compared to B, which is this one, which is unstable. So that's why this graph, okay, what you're seeing here is called the throughput graph. So what you see here, this 10 orders per minute, 20 orders per minute, this is basically the throughput. Okay, so how many transactions per minute is happening? Okay, it can be orders, it can be login per minute, it can be anything. Okay, so based on the throughput graph, you can say whether your system is stable or not. Okay, now generally, okay, when you get an application to test, you will have something called an SLA. What is an SLA? Anyone?
Service level agreement.
Yes.
It's kind of
Exactly.
requirement.
Right. Yes. So from the NFR document, you will get an SLA. Okay. Now this SLA is basically very important. It's like what I can say. It's like a very important metric that as a performance tester we need to keep in mind. Right. Now why we need to keep in mind? So let's say I have an SLA that order SLA, okay, of 10 transactions per minute, 5 seconds. So basically throughput is 5 seconds. Throughput is 10 transactions per minute and response time is 5 seconds. So this is my SLA, let's say. Okay. So what does this mean is 10 orders per minute. When my application is going through this load, right? 10 orders per minute is happening. Every minute 10 orders are happening, okay, in my application. When that is happening, orders should get processed in 5 seconds. So that's the meaning of that. Now this is the value which I get from my client or business. This is their need, okay, it's their need, okay, they are saying, okay, this is what according to me is an acceptable value, okay. So now as a performance tester, what I do, I need to test my application whether this is getting satisfied or not. Now when I test it, if I get a value, let's say I'm doing 10 orders per minute, okay, in my JMeter script, or I added some X number of users and I am achieving 10 orders per minute, okay, and I get a response time of 6 seconds. And say one more case we will take where I am getting 4.5 seconds, okay, and one more case I will take where I get 5 seconds. Now out of this C1, C2, C3, which test is successful and which is not as per SLA? So my SLA is 5 seconds. In my test run, I'm 4.5 seconds, case 1. Let's say one more case I will take where I get a response time of 5 seconds. Let's take one more case, which is case 3, where I get 6 seconds. So out of these 3 cases, which all test runs are pass and which all test runs are fail?
Other than 6 seconds, install or pass.
Yes, exactly. Right? This is pass, this is pass. But this is fail because my SLA is 5 seconds. That means my order should happen in 5 seconds. But in my test run, I found out it is happening in 6 seconds, which is a failure. Right? Now I need to fix it. When I say I need to fix it, obviously developers or the who have developed the code or who have deployed it, they will have to fix it. What as a performance tester I will have to do, right? I will have to give them whatever they need, right? For example, which area of the transaction, or what is that bottleneck we call it, okay? The problematic areas, okay, what is causing that extra 1 second, right? That I need to identify as a performance tester and give them. Now what they will do to fix that bottleneck, they might have to fix the code, fix the infra settings, fix the configuration or whatever that they will do. Okay, we don't need to worry much. But let's say you are in the range of 5 years of experience, right? So your journey will be still till here only, identifying the bottleneck. But let's say you are in the range of 5 to 8 years. So even this part also might be, I mean, like you will have to know a bit more on this because you are in a good amount of years of experience range. So there what people will expect is little bit of fixing also, some recommendations we say, some recommendations you need to give where you can bring down the 6 seconds to under 5 seconds by doing something, right? Configuration change or fixing the code or whatever, right? Now my question to all of you is, then why 4.5 seconds passed? Like anyways, my customer said only 5 seconds, right? Then why should I go like why 4.5 seconds passed? Hello?
5 second is the maximum which it can reach. So
Exactly. So
for
it's a response time, right? Let's say if someone says to you 1 kg of tomato is 50 rupees. Now if he gives you 1.5 kg for 50 rupees, it's good for you. It's a profit for you, right? Same thing here, right? They said 5 seconds, but your test run shows 4.5 seconds. They are still winning, right? They are on the winning side. So now, but the question comes, the outcome, right? 5 second outcome and 4.5 second outcome is actually different. Okay. Which is actually where you can play around. Okay. So why I say this is, now let's say 4.5 second is what I am achieving for 10 orders per minute. Okay. Now in this 5 second, I am like, let's say I am on the border, right? I mean, like I am already, I cannot go anything beyond this, right? I can just tune it, maybe do something and bring it down, but I'm on the border. But here I'm in the 4.5 seconds. So this 10 orders per minute, I can recommend to the client that I can go till 12 orders per minute, because then this 4.5 seconds will reach 5 seconds maybe for 12 orders per minute, and still we are under SLA. Or else I can say to my client to reduce the resources to save money, because we are achieving 4.5 seconds, but our SLA is 5 seconds. So we can reduce the resources a bit so that the response time will come to 5 seconds, and we will save the money also at the same time by reducing the CPUs, the resources, the cloud resources, right? So these are the way you need to think as a performance tester, where you will directly create that impact, that visibility, right? Okay. Anyways, any questions anyone till now? I'll take few questions quickly. Just raise your hands. I know I'm going little like a bullet train because yeah, it's like a, as I said, it's a 40 hours course. I'm trying to somehow club it into this 2 hours, okay, so that you get most out of it. Yeah, any questions, anyone till now, or all good? Okay,
All
right, awesome. Yeah, awesome. So, what I will expect from all of you, it's a request, okay? If at all you're not able to unmute yourself, just put some reactions, okay? That way things will be more clearer. Like even I will know, like whatever maybe I'm just speaking about, right? It's all like you're understanding it properly. Otherwise, I might have to repeat things and we might lose time, right? So some reactions will help. Okay. Thank you for it. Yeah. Okay. Right. So now this is about basically the SLA, right? So now when we speak about performance testing, there are different types of performance testing which we do. A lot of testings different are there, but out of that, four are very important. Okay. So can you call out anyone? What are those type of? Because these are some common things which you
Load,
most of you would have. Yeah, load. Then next,
stress,
stress.
or smoke testing.
Smoke is fine. Smoke, I will keep it
No, no,
here. Let me.
it is soak.
Hmm.
SOAK.
Oh, soak. Okay, okay. Soak. Then what else? Spike and let's say
Maybe
very important one, which is endurance. Okay.
industries.
So these are very important four tests. Okay. There are a lot of different tests nowadays in the market, but these four performance tests are generally done in most of the applications. Okay. Now, when I say about load test, stress test, spike test, actually these four have different objectives. Okay, why we do that? Now, when I say load test is nothing but, see, when you run a test where you know your SLA, that I need to achieve this much throughput and I need to achieve this much response time for that throughput, that I know. Okay, so that's a load test. Okay, but in stress test what happens no, you actually keep pushing your application to the full limit. So there you don't say that I have to go till this throughput, which you don't know. It can go till 100, it can go till 150, it can go to, so throughput can go to 200. That's what we are seeing, right? Till where I can go. Okay, and response time, obviously based on this throughput, as it increases, response time will also increase. So here throughput and response time, actually both are unknown. You don't know. You keep adding users, adding users, adding users, and put your application in stress. And what one point your error, right? Let's say the error percentage goes above 10%. That time you say your system broke generally. Till 10% in stress test is fine. In load test, 1%. Okay. So that's the thumb rule we follow. So when your stress test error rate goes above 10%, that's where we stop the stress test. Okay. And we find out, okay, throughput is 200 and response time was, let's say, 20 seconds. Now, this question is to all. Okay. In load test, the throughput was what I need to achieve is, let's say, 50 and response time was 5 seconds. Okay. Now in stress test, it is 220 seconds. Now, why do I need to do the stress test? Like, what's the use of stress test? So load test, it is 50 throughput. Stress test, it is 200. Like I could go till 200. Now, why do I do the stress test? Load test is fine, right? Based on the SLA, for the normal utilization of the application, my application is stable, right? That I try to prove using load test. But why stress test? What's the need of that?
Basically, I think whenever in case we have the like system loaded with more number of users,
Mhm.
which is beyond what we designed for at least, and that time what is the system behavior? What is our application behavior? Whether it's
Exactly,
behaving
right?
correctly or
Exactly.
it's getting hang or something else. Yes.
Right. Also, stress test is more about to understand your ultimate break level, or I can say how much your application can withstand, right? Or not withstand, I'll say, but how much your application can take maximum under any negative scenarios, or like, I will not say negative scenarios, but maybe due to some sudden surge, right? So there, our point will be not response time. It's okay if my application goes till 20 seconds also, it's fine. Okay, but my system should not break. So this error percentage is the metric which shows your system broke or not. Because beyond 10%, if there is error, that means your system is not like it's purely like a broken state, right? Out of 10, that means out of 100 orders, 10% error rate means out of 100 orders, 10 orders are failing, which is not, again, ultimately your system is not working as expected, right? So that's the maximum it can go, right? Now, what is spike test, right? So spike test is pretty straightforward. Now, what happens during flash sales? Let's say in Flipkart, what is the behavior? What happens? So, let's say there are 5 users, okay, or like 50 users using. Now, let's say the flash sale is at let's say 12 p.m. Okay, so correctly at 12 p.m. what will happen? Now, suddenly the user count will become, let's say, some 200. Okay, and let's say after some time it will come down to again 50. So this is actually a spike, isn't it? Isn't it, all of you?
Yes.
Now, this I need to test. Now, you might ask me this question. Okay, we are doing a stress test, we are doing a load test. Why I need to do spike test? Because let's say for load test, I have already tested for, let's say, 300 users. Okay, then why should I test for the spike? Right? So the answer is, see, there might lot of, like, you will feel lot of difference, okay, between spike test and load test. Because in load test, what happens now? Your users increase gradually, okay, and then it reaches 300 users. But here it is at a time going to 200, right, in just a second. Now, when it happens at a time, there will be a lot of differences in the behavior. Like, for example, let's say you have auto scaling enabled in your system. Now, it's a gradual change, your scaling will happen gradually. Now, but if it is a sudden change, is your auto scaling also that fast or not? Right? We don't know. So, such things you can test, or you can find the uh, the problems in your system, right, using spike test, to understand how your system will behave for the stability and load perspective, right? How the system will behave when there is a sudden spike. Okay, and generally the spike will be always lesser than your load test value. Okay, you don't do it for like a stress test. No, it will be always lesser than the load test value, but it will be a sudden spike. Now, all these tests, stress test, load test, spike test, right, all have different objectives, as you can see, right? Now, ultimately, the last one is the endurance. Endurance is nothing but, let's say I am taking a class, okay, 1 hour I am taking a class and I am taking 5 hours class. Which one do you think will be an energetic session? 1 hour or 5 hours?
1 hour for sure.
Of course, 1 hour, right? Because with time, my energy, I will lose energy. There will be some time-based issues, right? The same thing happens with applications also, right? Let's say you have an application, you tested it for 1 hour in load test. What you do in endurance test is, let's say this is my load test, okay? And let's say I tested it for 300 users. Now the same thing I tested for, let's say, 200 users for, but for a very long time, okay? So it will be like, let's say this is 1 hour and this will be like 24 hours. And user count will be not 300, it will be like somewhere around 150. And this is called endurance test. Now, endurance test is done to understand some behaviors in the system which is time based, or which happens with respect to time, right? And one of the important phenomenon is memory leak. So to identify memory leaks, endurance test is done. Okay, and which is very important phenomena. You can identify more issues also, right? Not only memory leaks, but memory leaks is a very common one. So we do endurance test to identify these memory leak issues. Okay, and especially that happens due to heaps, threads, and all. Okay, so that anyways, it's a different topic. But yeah, so that's for memory leak. So now these are the 4 important tests you do in performance. Okay, now all these 4 tests actually you model in JMeter differently. So the script will remain same. Let's say script will not change for all the 4 tests, but how you model it, the scenario, right, in JMeter will change. The number of users, how it is, how the users are getting ramped up, ramped down, how you are modeling it, right? So that will change based on the test, but script will remain same. So in the script, the user settings, or how you set up the users, or how you set up the scenario, that will change. Okay. Yeah. Any questions, anyone till now?
Yeah, could you please repeat that graph for endurance test once again?
Okay. This one.
Yes.
Okay. So this is like, see, I am running a test for 300 users for 1 hour, let's say. Like I'm keeping 300 users constantly in JMeter. Okay. JMeter, I'm using 300 users, I'm generating load, and I'm keeping the test continuously for 1 hour on for at 300 users. Now this is like I'm running it for 24 hours, not 1 hour. This is endurance, where you run it for a very long duration, your test, but with a lesser user, like 150 users, not 300 users.
So how it is different from soak testing? In soak testing also we run it for 12 hours or 24 hours, right?
Mhm. Yes. So see what happens in soak testing. Okay, let me explain you that also. See, soak testing and endurance are pretty much same only. Okay. Now these are new different names. Okay, I'll explain you in a high level way. See, soak testing are two like what happens is it is also known as endurance. I mean, like both are similar. Okay. So ultimately, the key objectives of soak testing or endurance testing is identifying memory leaks, performance degradations over time, memory leaks, and validate stability also. Are you getting? So both are same, right? Endurance and soak testing, there is not much of a difference.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And usually,
Okay. Yeah.
for endurance test, right? What will be the standard
Mm.
SLA usually?
Uh, as I said, see, it will be below your load only, right? Your load test is for 300 users. Endurance will be below that load, right? And endurance test you do after you do all the test, after it is certified. I mean, like all other tests. So already in load test, you have load test is the only place where the SLA plays picture, right? So once your load test is certified, that means as per SLA, you are good. All other test is for identifying different issues. I hope
Okay,
you are
sign
getting
of
my point.
stability. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Right. So that's the story about all this performance testing. Okay. There are a lot of things, okay, other than this also. But due to time constraints, I'm not going very in depth into those things. Because how, like basically how using graphs, you identify different bottlenecks, what are the issues you generally see, okay, and how to identify that, uh, different tests, how you run it, and all those stuff, right? So yeah, that's a different story, which needs more time, and yeah, which you can maybe read more on. But yeah, so this is the thing about performance testing as a high level way. Okay. Now what we will do is, see, now to do all these things we need a tool, right? Let's say when I say 300 users, 150 users, but how are you going to do that, right? Like for, let's say, one user. Now I am opening an application. Okay, let's say I'm opening Amazon. Now, when I open Amazon, this is one user, like I am doing it, right? Now, now this question is to all, okay? This is Amazon.com. I am opening Amazon.com in two tabs. Does that mean two users?
No, no.
No, right? Here we are speaking about concurrent users, right? At the same time. Now, when you open it in different tabs, it's not in at the same time, right? It still has a small gap, right, between both when I'm opening it. So when I say concurrent users, 300 users, if I say here, right, that means 300 parallelly should start at the same time, right? Now, how do I do that, right? How I cannot do it using the machine, right? Like this, just by opening, even if I have five also, or even two, I cannot do that at the same time, right? So to do that, I need a tool, right? And that's where the performance testing tools comes into picture, right? LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoad, various tools in the market, right? Which have some pros and cons here and there. But ultimately, all of these tools work very well for performance testing, right? Uh, Only what is the thing is, like here and there their interfaces will be different. Some will be used with LoadRunner, some with JMeter, but JMeter is actually, if you see, it's more popular, around 70% market share JMeter has, okay, because of its open source nature, okay, because JMeter is open source, and it is you never feel that it's an open source because that application is so good, so stable, and the community is also very big around JMeter. Okay, because JMeter is not used only for performance testing, it's also used for unit testing, right? So developers also use this, developers or any other many other, like even like functional testers also sometimes use Selenium WebDriver in JMeter and run it, right? So JMeter is widely used not only by for performance testers but other domain people also, right? So it has a very big market share. But if you think about LoadRunner, NeoLoad and all, it's specifically to performance testers, right? And also it's a paid tool, right? So everyone cannot afford it, right? So implementation, POC, everything has the cost associated with it. So that makes it little tricky to implement it. Okay, though LoadRunner has a 50 user trial, I guess. So yes, so 50 user trial is there, so that you can use, but still that's nothing. Like 50 users, you will easily get exhausted. You'll have to go to the paid one. Okay, some other time, right? So yeah, so JMeter has a very huge market share based on because of that, and not only because of the open source nature, but the community around which the JMeter is built is very huge. So if at all you get any issue or any problem, the community is so big, right? You get the solution to that issue easily, okay, in the community. So yeah, and even if you see the Jenkins pipeline, CI/CD implementation and all, directly JMeter plugins are available. So the CI/CD implementation automation things become very easy using JMeter. Okay, so that's why JMeter is very popular. Now, how do I like how do I get started with JMeter, right? So that question, let's try to see. Okay. First of all, you need to download JMeter. So let's go to Apache JMeter. Just search Apache JMeter. Okay, so you land onto this page. Now here, just open this link. Right, now here you will see download releases. Click on download releases. Okay, now in the download releases, I hope it opened, right? Yeah. Okay, now here just go to download the and just download the zip of the binaries. Okay, so once the download is completed, the zip you can download. Okay, just open that folder and extract it. So this is a folder, right, in which I have the I have downloaded it. So just extract it. So this 5.6.3 is the version number, okay, of JMeter. Now once you extract it, just open JMeter. Okay, I will show you that. Go to file location. Yeah. So once you extract it, your folder will look something like this. Go inside that. You will see this folders. Okay, inside that. Now in that you go to the bin folder. Now in bin folder, there are two ways to open JMeter. Okay, one is using the Windows batch file, or if you're using Ubuntu, using the shell file. Okay, and if you're using Mac, you have the one more file, right? The Mac file. So now using Windows batch file or this jar file, one out of that. But one more thing is there. Before you can proceed, right? Just open CMD and just enter Java version. Now, when you enter Java version, you should see this Java version output. Okay. If you don't get this Java version output, that means there is you don't have the Java installed in your machine, or else your Java is installed but the environment variable is not set. So one out of this, right? So now if you, let's say you don't get it, right? You don't see the Java version output. Then what you need to do is, so this is a very important prerequisite for JMeter to run, okay? Java should be there in your machine. Now, how do I do that? So just go online again, just put download JDK, okay? Now this will come. So click on Java downloads and just scroll down. And you can download, see, the latest one is JDK 23. I always prefer this way to do that I don't prefer the latest one. I just go one below, okay, so that it's a stable one, it's a tested one, right? So JDK 21, pick it up and scroll down and download the 64-bit one, this one. We just download it. Once you download it, install it. Okay. In my case, it is already there. That's why I'm not installing it. Once you install it, again, just go to this files, basically the program files, and go to Java. It's this one. Okay, program files, and go to Java JDK, and go to bin, and just copy this whole path. See, program file Java JDK, and copy it. Okay. Now just type environment. Just edit the system environment variables, right? This option will come. Just open that. And once this tab opens, go to this environment variables option. Now here you can set your environment variables. Okay. So what you need to do is click on this new here. In variable name, you give Java home, and variable value you give the whole path. Don't give till bin. Okay. Just JDK 19 is enough. Don't give till bin. So see program file Java JDK 19, right? Whichever JDK you install, based on that, that number will change 19, 21, 20, whatever. Okay. And just give OK. Okay. Once you give OK, this it will appear like this. Okay. Then give OK. Once you are done this, I will suggest you restart your system once. Okay. Because sometimes without restart, you might not see that effect reflected. Okay. So you might think, okay, what happened? So it's nothing wrong with what you did. It's just a system restart which you need. Once you do the restart, just enter Java version. You will see the output. Now Java prerequisite is done. Okay, so once the Java is installed, now we can go back to JMeter and try to run it. So this is JMeter. I'm inside the bin folder again. The in bin folder, what I will do is I will go to this Windows batch file. So there are a lot of Windows batch file here, right? In that there's a JMeter Windows batch file. See this one. JMeter Windows batch file. Open it. Now if all your prerequisites are proper, there's no problem. Your JMeter will run. So did you all observe one thing? We don't need any installation for JMeter. It's just download, extract the file, run it. So you don't need to install JMeter. Okay. So this is how the JMeter dashboard will look like. It might be black, it might be white, based on what skin settings you have chosen. So it's this. Okay. So basically you can change the look and feel. So it can be any like there are different like what I can say, different view options. Okay. Based on that, the look and feel will change. Yeah. Any questions, anyone till now? Any step or anything which you have doubts?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, does
Yeah.
uh, does this require any specifications like system specifications to install JMeter?
Yeah. Basically, minimum 4 GB RAM, minimum. Okay. And I will suggest 16 is good. Okay, 16 GB RAM. But again, one more thing. See, when I say minimum requirement, it is always your master machine. Okay, because this JMeter you can run in multiple machines at the same time. Because you cannot run your test always in your own machine. You will have to add more CPUs based on the user count what you need to achieve, right? So uh, on which you are running the minimum one where you are scripting or where you are developing your JMeter script, there minimum you can have 4 to 8 GB of RAM, maybe minimum of i3 processor it will work, okay, but you can have i5 is a good one, right? And yeah, that's only the prerequisites, nothing much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Okay, so this is how the JMeter as soon as you open the JMeter dashboard will look like. Okay. Now see, as soon as you land on, let me, what I will do is, before I teach you how to script or how to record and all, okay, let me quickly run a test and show you. Okay, basically how that thing happen, like what are the things we observe and all those stuff. Okay, so for that, first of all, so for to show some basic things, what I will do is I will just start my own server, which is on my machine, local machine, and I have deployed. There is a demo application called JPEG Store onto my machine. Okay, so now this JPEG Store is on my machine. Okay? It's not on the on some other server or something on online, but it's on my local machine. Okay, so once I start this, what I will do is I will start a test. Okay, for this application with a script which I already developed, okay, to show you something, and I will show you how it is done. Okay. Okay, so till that application starts, okay, let me come back to Amazon. I'll inspect the element once. Let me reload it. Now see, when I loaded Amazon, okay, there will be a lot of requests that will come. Okay, now these are all the we say request. Okay, so when I say request, it is nothing but I am saying the server to send it to me. Now what is server, what are response, what is request and all, this one we will go in depth. Okay, uh, especially when it's my course, but here, yeah, due to some time constraints, I'm not able to explain what, like, not go in depth of what is a server and all those stuff. Okay, but ultimately, so this is how the request looks like. Okay, out of this request is very important. Okay, the doc or this one. Now this is a request which actually you test in JMeter. Okay, but all other CSS, JavaScript and all those files you don't test in JMeter. Can someone say why? Because see, through request you can you get those files also. Okay, CSS, JavaScript, because your browser needs those files also to render it, right? To render means to show this page, right? But you don't test that in JMeter. But in JMeter you will test this main request only. Now why is it that? Like, what's the reason? Anyone? Like, why I don't need
Uh,
to test or why I don't need to download that CSS and JavaScript files in JMeter?
Maybe like we have to test that HTTP request basically.
Yes. So see, let's say, um, do you think based on the number of users, the CSS file will change? I mean, like the time required to,
Time required to load. I think
right?
yes.
So time required to load will not change, right? Are you getting? See, if I increase the number of users, 10, 20, 30, 40, so the server will process. See, the CSS file server will not use to process, right? The code is what the server will process. So that is what we are more interested into as a performance, right? Because whatever the CSS, JavaScript and all will actually happen on the client side, so which we are not much worried about, right? Whatever will affect your server side performance, that we are more worried about, which this might be little foggy to you now, but when you go in depth, right, you will understand like what is that I am trying to convey. Maybe some of you would have also understood, right? What do I mean? So that's why in JMeter, if you see, this is that one request which we will test. We will not test all this. No. So when I open this landing page, this is the landing page, the first page, right? So in JMeter, if I want to mimic that, I don't put all these things. I put only that one important request in JMeter to mimic that landing page transaction. And for this is For this only I get the SLA that okay, this landing page should load or the launch of Amazon.com should happen in 5 seconds for 100 users or whatever, right? And okay, anyways, coming to our JPEG store. Okay, any questions anyone has till now? Okay, so now this is how the request looks like. Okay, a basic request. In that request, you will, when you have a request, you have a header, you have a response. In headers, you have basically the request has headers, and request URL will be there, and request method is what method it is: get, post, put, delete, and all those different types of methods. Okay, status code actually defines like whether that request was successful or not, right? When it went to the server and came back, right? With respect to the browser, if it gets a response back, it is successful. Okay, but do you think like if I get 200 always that my request was successful? Like see, from browser it is simple. Okay, if it gets a response, it is successful. But can it happen this way that response might be different or wrong what it is getting from the server? Can it happen like that?
Yes.
Right, it can, but still it will give you 200 that your request is successful. But it can be deceiving, right? But as a performance tester we need to catch that also. So there are ways in JMeter to do that. Okay. So yeah, so just to point out that. Okay. Then again, in the response, I mean the request headers. After request headers, you have the request body. Now in this case, it is a get method. So we don't have anything in the body. But let's say you are posting something. Okay. So like let's say if I go to this website, or even this one. Let's say. Now, generally, why we use some demo applications is because all the applications won't support performance testing. Okay, so that's why we use the demo application. Because let's say you are building an application, will you allow like anyone to just put hundreds of users on your application? Will you allow that?
No?
So you will put some system in place, right? So that you can block those users, isn't it? Hello, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So that same thing happens with the application. So you cannot test all the applications. You have to use either some demo applications to test which are okay for them to like they allow it for performance, but in your project that problem won't be there, right? The project, because already you are doing it in the perf environment, which is where they allow, okay, they allow the performance testing to happen on the application, right? So now this is one post method which I did. Okay, I submitted a form. Now this post method, if you see the payload, see it has a payload. So this is the request body we say. So request body actually will contain some details which you send to the server, right? So now when I'm submitting a form, so there are a lot of things, ID, status, payment code, and all those things which I send to the server, right? Or whatever I enter, the credit card number and all those details. So it will send it to the server. Server will process it and send me back as a response, whatever, right? So headers, request body. Now request headers are very important because the important details like the authorization and all things will be there in the request headers. Okay. Now coming to this, coming back to JMeter. So I have one script where I am registering the users in this application. Okay, in this JPEG store application. So let me quickly run this once. No, basically what this script does is, right, it will launch the application first. So this is a launch step. Okay, then it will click on the sign in, which is this one. So let me go to that application and side by side show you. So this is a launch. I have launched it. Okay, so that's what you're seeing here. I'm launching the application. This one, if you see catalog.action jpeg store /action /catalog.actions. That is this one. See jpeg store action /catalog.action. I am launching it. Now after launch, I am clicking on sign in. So let's go to this one and I'm clicking on sign in. So this one, this is the thing which I'm doing. Now here I'm entering I'm clicking on register now because I want to register some users to run the test, right? So that is this click register, right? And after that, I'm entering the details, basically this one, this whole form, right? I'm submitting this whole form. So that's what you're seeing here, all these details, right? Then what I'm doing after I register, I'm checking using sign in. Do I need to do that or not? Like I registered the users. Now using the same user, I should at least once check whether the sign in is happening or not, right? Or do I not do that? I should leave it. What do you think? Like I registered a user, I have to validate it, right?
Yes.
Right. So that I am doing here, right? After I registered that with the same user, I am trying to sign in. So if sign in fails, then I know the registration had failed. So I do something out of it, right? Then sign out, obviously. So this I am running in a loop, and if you see now currently I have registered 200 users. And how much time I took to register 200 users? How much time I took? At the top, if you see, it's just 24 seconds, which I took to register 200 users with 20 users. That means I ran the test with 20 users, 20 concurrent users. Basically, 20 parallel users are registering in my uh, application. Okay, that's why in 24 seconds I could register 200 users. Like let's say if a single person is doing manually, will he be able to do this much in 24 seconds? Hello? Will he be able to do
No,
that?
no,
No,
not at all.
right? We are running it with 20 users, right? That's why, and also it's here we haven't added anything time and all those time. We will discuss what it is. So that's why it is happening so fast, right? Now, once the registration is complete, what I will do is I will use the same users in my ordering flow. So for ordering also, I have one script already generated. Okay, this ordering flow I have. I'll explain all these things. Okay, what they are. Just I want you to get a high level understanding now first. Then we will see how we did this. Okay. So I'm just running this test. See, now I have started my test. Okay. And if you see in my test, what am I doing? I am launching the application. Then I'm logging in. Then I'm choosing a product. I'm choosing a category, choosing a subcategory, signing in again, add to cart. I'm proceeding to checkout. I'm continuing. I'm confirming the order. Then what I'm doing, I'm going to my orders and then I'm checking whether that order is existing, that order ID in my orders or not. So that I'm validating whether the order was successful or not, right? And then I am signing out. So this is the scenario, that the full scenario we call it, the flow. And this flow we call it the ordering flow or the ordering scenario. Now, what's the difference between flow, scenario, how you decide the flow, how you plan it, all those stuff is a different story, little in-depth story. Okay. Scenario looks like. This is the ordering scenario. You're ordering, right? Now, what is happening? See, when I say this throughput here, 6.3 per second for this confirm order. Now, what is that 6.6 per second? What is that? Like when I say confirm, when I click, so basically I'm confirming the order. Okay. So the order is getting placed. So 6.6 per second. So 6.6 orders per second is happening now. So 6 orders, around 7 orders per second is happening on this application, which I started. Okay. So let me show you the flow. Okay, once. So what I'm doing, I'm clicking on fish. I'm clicking on this. I'm adding it to cart. I'm proceeding it to checkout. I'm continuing. Click on confirm. So this is where that confirm is coming, right? The confirm one. So I'm clicking on confirm, confirm, and then what I do, thank you, your order has been submitted, came, right? This order ID 1357, right? Which is there. I'm going to my account. I'm clicking on my orders. So that's what you're seeing here, right? My orders, right? And then I'm checking whether this 1357 is available or not. And then signing out. Now the question comes. There are a lot of questions here, right? How do I did this? Like how basically that assertion or what are these elements I have used, this head HTTP and all those. So that we will try to understand. Okay. Now this is how a basic report, basically a scenario will look like when you run a test. Okay, a full scenario with response time, average response time, throughput, and all those stuff. Okay. Any questions, anyone till now?
Uh, for recording, usually we use like the JMeter script, JMeter way only, or it's just like through third party, like say Blaze Meter. Which company
Very good
recommends?
question. Okay, so see, there are a lot of ways you can record, which we will see now in a quick way. See, recording you can do using JMeter or BlazeMeter plugin. Okay, basically. So the BlazeMeter plugin actually won't work in various scenarios. Okay, for example, let's say you have an organization which doesn't allow Chrome extensions, right? So that time you cannot use that. Then let's say you have a scenario where again all those restrictions and all, right? And also, see, the BlazeMeter plugin has a very big problem, okay, which I'm not able to show now due to some time constraints. But there is a big problem which JMeter recording solves. Okay, so most of the important scenarios where you are scripting, JMeter recording actually helps. So BlazeMeter plugin is only for fixing some issues or problems. You can just quickly record and use it. But majorly, you will have to go with the JMeter recording, not the BlazeMeter one. Okay. So now how do I use JMeter recording to record and what is this recording, right? That we will see next. Yeah. Any questions, anyone?
Uh,
Other than that?
I mean, just to further to discussion. So
Yeah.
if there is a restrictions, like when we start doing that Blaze Meter, we see there is
Mhm.
a restriction for it is not allowing any extension. It is fine. If there are no extension, then still should we check with company or I mean with our organization
It's
or still
always
we
good
can continue?
because see, ultimately
It's not
BlazeMeter plugin,
illegal, right?
right. BlazeMeter plugin will store the data. Okay, so that's the main important
Okay.
thing, right? So whatever you do, actually BlazeMeter plugin will store it in the cloud. Okay, so
Still it
you have
can
to
be used
be
if it is
careful in
allowed.
that. Yes,
Okay.
right. Okay, and there is one more way to do that is using curl. Okay, so see there are three ways you can bring a request into JMeter. One is JMeter recording, which is a very common one and very powerful one also. Second is using BlazeMeter plugin. Again, it's a very easy process. There is no much setup and all, but lot of restrictions, some privacy issues and all, right, which you need to overcome. Third is the using the curl, okay, or the CURL, which is actually not a end-to-end recording perspective, we cannot use it, but to bring a request from browser to JMeter, we can use that. Okay, so let's see those recording techniques very
Okay.
quickly. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I will close this. I'll start from first. Okay, now in a high level way, all of you are clear, like what we are targeting to achieve at the end, at least, right? With respect to scripting perspective. Any questions, anyone? Okay. See, whenever we speak about the life cycle, right? First comes the planning, right? So the test plan generation planning comes first. Now this test plan, what happens in this test plan is where you plan all the questions, right? The types of tests which you are planning, how you do it, all what all you do it, and all those stuff. So that happens in the test plan. I'm not going in depth in this due to some time constraints, but yeah. So test plan comes into picture. Okay, then comes the basically the scripting. Okay, where you create your JMeter script or LoadRunner script or whichever the tool is. Then after scripting comes the execution, where you execute your test. You need to understand how you execute based on what test you're doing and all those stuff. The execution, like for volume, load, endurance, spike, everything has a different way of execution. Okay, so execution changes. Then comes the analysis and reporting stage, where you use basically different monitoring tools like AppDynamics, Grafana, Prometheus to analyze your test and create a report and publish it to your customer, right? Or your client, or even your project or your organization. So this is how the whole life cycle, performance testing life cycle happens. Okay. Now there are various things like for agile, different ways of doing it, and those things actually we discuss in detail in the main course. Okay, but yeah, here due to some time constraints, I'm not able to go through all those things. Okay, right. So coming now, we are at this stage, scripting. Let's assume test plan we already have. Okay, so we are at this stage of scripting. Now, when I come to scripting, first what we will do is, so let's open JMeter from first. So whenever we do scripting, the first thing what we do is the recording. Okay. Obviously, in the test plan, you will understand the scenario flow and all those stuff. You will be you will document it. So based on that flow and scenarios and all, you will start the recording. Okay. So just click on, once you land onto this page, click on this green color book here, right? See, there are various ways. See, whatever I'm showing you is the single way, okay? But there are multiple different ways, different issues, different problems you might face while doing these things, okay? Which all the ways I'm not covering here, because just I want you to be, like as I said, it's like a crash course, right? So you will be good at JMeter. I will not say you'll become totally aware about what all things are there in the JMeter now, but in a high level way you'll be able to manage, right? So now click on this book here. You land on this page, go to recording with think time and click on create. Okay, so this template will get added. Okay, now what you do is come to this HTTPS test script recorder. See, generally when you're using JMeter, Firefox is a very good browser. Okay, it's a compatible browser with JMeter. I'll explain that also why. So I'll open Firefox quickly. Okay, right. So this I have opened in the Firefox. Okay, now coming back to JMeter, go to HTTPS test script recorder. Okay, so this is how a basic JMeter different elements will look like. Thread group is the most fundamental element. It starts with test plan. Then these are all called elements. Okay, various different things what you have here are called elements. Okay, and each have different purpose. Okay, now this HTTPS test script recorder element and this one, if you compare, let's say this view results tree and this one, is there a small color change between both? Is there a small color change between both?
The below one is faded kind of HTTPS
Right,
test
right.
script
So
recorder.
because this is in disabled state, okay, and this is enabled state. Now, see, when it comes to disabled state, JMeter will not run that when you run a test, okay. But test script recorder, you don't run a test, right? You use it only for recording. That's why you can keep it disabled. There's no problem. Still recording will work, okay. But other things, okay, whichever you require when you run a test, you have to keep it enabled. I hope you are getting my point, right? Are you getting? So why I don't need this test script recorder enabled? So this enable disable is not that it will work or not work. All will work, okay? But when you're executing a test or when you're running a test, if that has to get included in the test, you have to enable it. But while you're executing a test, do you need to execute this recorder? Hello? like the final script once you have created, do you need a recorder?
No.
No, right? So that's why recorders can be in a disabled state only. You don't need to enable it. Okay, right? So that's why this is enabled. Now similarly, if I disable this, okay, I can disable anything here. Okay, see the whole thread group is disabled. So what will happen is now that thread group will not get executed. If you have multiple thread groups, you can disable few, enable, and all those stuff you can do. Okay, so that's what this disable and enable story is. Okay, now coming to recorder quickly. Okay, now there are important settings which you need to do. First of all, change the port number. Okay, so let's say 8087 is the port I keep. Okay, now the same thing, the port which I change, I go to Firefox, I go to settings. Here just enter XY. This network settings option will open. Click on settings. Generally, when you do it for the first time, your option what you see might be here, auto detect proxy settings for this network. Click manual proxy. Okay, in HTTP proxy, enter localhost. Okay, and in the port number, enter whatever 8083 or whatever you want, right? Whatever port number you gave here, 8087. So I'll give 8087 here. Okay, and then this one also you can choose. Also use this proxy for HTTPS, because if you're using an HTTPS based websites, select it will use the same port for that also. Okay, and click on OK. Now what will happen now? If you try to open any application here, it will not open. Okay, so you'll get this message. The proxy server is refusing connections, because now whatever port number I gave here in Firefox, that is my proxy server port. Okay, so proxy server I need to start, and my proxy server is JMeter, which I need to start using this. So what basically JMeter is doing to record your transactions is, in a technical way, see now this is my browser, okay, and this is my server. So I'm sending a request, and server will send me a response. Okay, now if I need to record these things, let's say there is a marriage happening and there is a person here, okay, and the bridegroom is here, okay, and this guy wants to record whatever is happening. So what will be there in between this guy and the stage? What will be there to record? A camera, right? The camera will be there in between them, isn't it or not? Will camera be
Yes.
here? No. Will camera be here? No, because this guy wants to shoot this, right? So if this guy wants to shoot, camera should be in the center, right? Are you getting this logic? So if this guy wants to record, the camera should be in center. Similarly, if JMeter wants to record the request responses, where the JMeter should be in this structure, where it should be
In between.
in between, right? So that's what the proxy server does. Okay, so JMeter, what it will do, no, it will work like a proxy. So browser will send a request, so my JMeter will sit here as a proxy server. So whatever request will go through this server, the proxy server, okay, and response will come also through this and then to the browser. So now whatever will come in between, right, like I mean like whatever is going and coming, JMeter will record, and that's what we are doing. Okay, so unless, now just think my server is not running, so then the request cannot pass, right? It cannot pass from here because it's a black box now, it's not running. So if the request has to pass, that means if you don't, you should not get this error, right? You have to start your server, And what's your server? Your JMeter. How do I start? By clicking on start.
Sorry to interrupt. Is it JMeter is a server? It acts as a
Yeah.
server or as a client?
Sorry, what's your question? See, here it's a JMeter proxy server. It's a proxy server. In our case,
Okay.
when we are recording, it acts like a proxy server. Okay. Now, if I try to just reload this website,
I have a question here.
yeah,
So when you change the port number from the Firefox, right? So will it change the port number
mhm,
of the Firefox only or the whole system?
exactly. That's a very good question. Okay. Now, that's why I said JMeter and Firefox are a very compatible browser. I will come to that. Okay. Next time coming to that only. That's a very good doubt what you asked.
Okay, and also one more doubt is like
Mhm,
when I was trying to record it through Chrome, I was not able
mhm,
to do it. I am
mhm.
not sure like what is the reason. I think the reason is with the proxy settings only.
Yeah. What was the error you were
So,
getting?
uh, the net was not working. Whenever I was trying like clicking on the start
Mhm,
button to record the script, and
correct.
then the net is not working. Like any like google.com is also not opening. Nothing is opening.
Yeah. So that is because of the proxy server issue only. Your configuration, you would have some things you would have missed. Okay, there are some
Okay,
things which you
so
need to see, you need to check because we will see. Now see, whatever we are recording now is non-HTTPS based. Okay, that means
okay.
HTTP. Okay. Now when you're
Uh-huh.
trying to do with HTTPS, there's a different way to do that.
Oh, okay. I think that
Okay,
was
so yeah.
HTTPS only. So will you
Okay,
address
yeah,
that?
that's it. Today, due to time constraints, I'm not going into that because again, it will take some time, certificate installation and all those stuff. But
Okay,
yeah, but in that, yeah, but in my in-depth course, it is there. But now, due to time constraints, I'm not able to do.
okay,
Yeah. Okay. So that's why for this example, I'm taking HTTP based website. Okay. HTTPS also is a similar way to do that, but there's a small few things which we need to do. Basically, you need to install that certificate in your trusted root certification authorities. Okay. So, and two more places which people then generally don't call out. One is the intermediate certification authorities, and next is the trusted publishers. Okay. These three places you need to install that JMeter certificate, and this JMeter certificate also you need to generate before you install. Okay. So yeah, few things we need to do for that. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Not sure why it is taking so much time to load. Let me restart once. Okay. Right. So now I'll just enter launch here. I'll just reload it once. And now let's say I click on okay, newsletter, and just I'll stop. Okay, recording works. Now I have stopped it. So automatically this will get stopped. Okay, when I click on that stop. Now if you see here, this recording controller inside that, there are various things that got captured. Okay, so basically whatever you did got captured here. Now there will be some unwanted things also here. Okay, which will get captured. So what you will have to do, you will have to delete those. Now if you see launch, this is a launch step. Now how do I how do I make sure that there's the launch step? So click on inspect. So this is the launch step, right? So see, this is a request, right? I can clearly read the request from here. And if you compare it, this one, right? It's correct. This is one. Now, if you see this, these are unwanted. I can delete it correctly. So what I will do, I will just search for this one first, and I will just do Control F, Control V, and I will just click search all and expand. Okay. So these are the places wherever we got marked, right? These are the places where we have this domain. Okay. So what I'll do is, first of all, I'll go to this. This one is correct. This one, if I go here, it doesn't have anything. Like there is no mark at all. That means that domain itself is not there. So I can delete it. So I will just go and remove. So this is a filtering process. Similarly, here if you see, you can delete because it's not required, though it's marked, but if you see it's coming from w3.org, which is not required, right? So similarly, I can delete others here, which are not required, some unwanted things, okay? So ultimately, whatever is you required, you keep that, okay? And others you remove. So this way you need to filter out whatever is required and not required. And you get that inside this. Then once it is done, what I'll do, I'll just, now here is the thing, okay? Now this result tree is called a listener. Okay, listener means what it will do is it will show you whatever is happening. So in listeners in JMeter actually are those which will give you signals or logging or graphs which will show you what is happening, right? A visual aid to show you what is happening. Now results tree is actually it will show you what requests we hit, what's the response request and all those details. Now if I come to this 22 here, so this is a request which I hit. This is a response rate I got. So all those details I will get. Now my question to all of you is, do I need this do I need this request? Because this is the one which I get from the recording. Okay. Is it critical or not? The request which I got during the recording.
It is required.
It is required, right? Because you will not get it second time. You will have to save it and keep it somewhere, right? Because this is what will actually, now what I'll do is I'll run a test. Okay, I'll just run a one user in test, and with one loop I'll run just one. Okay, I'll just run it, the one which I recorded. Okay, now this is the request. This is the request and this is the response. Now how will I know whether whatever response I got is correct or not if I don't have this? Is there a way to know? You're getting my point. So why this is very important, this log. The log while I recorded is very important because when I run it, rerun or replay it, right? So that time, whatever response I will get, I need something to compare it with to see what is the changes, what are the, what is the, why I am getting an error and all those stuff, right? So I need this recording log. And that's the reason I said BlazeMeter plugin has a very big drawback. You don't get this recording log in BlazeMeter plugin. Are you getting my point, all of you? When you use a BlazeMeter plugin, so now what is a BlazeMeter plugin, right? So again, coming here. So this is a BlazeMeter plugin you have, an extension to record in JMeter, okay? So what this BlazeMeter plugin will do is, you just directly install this using the Chrome Web Store. You just type BlazeMeter plugin and you install it, okay? Once you install, now you can record using this. So let's say JPEG Store. I just go to JPEG Store first. Okay, now just I will do what I'll do now. I will start the recording, click on start recording, and launch it. Then what I'll do, click on fish, I'll click on fish, then click on sub item. That's, I'll just stop it. Okay, now once I stop the recording, I can save it. Click on save. JMX and click on save. Okay, so your file will get downloaded here. Now what you can do, you can open this file in JMeter. So this is a file I got recorded using BlazeMeter plugin. Okay, so it is very clean, right? See test, click on fish, click on some item, all these things. But do you have that log? Do you have that log here? Hello?
No, no.
No, right? And that's a very big problem, right? Because you don't have anything to compare. So when you are, let's say, there are a lot of things which you do, like parameterization, correlation in JMeter, and for all this purpose, you need those logs. Without that logs, it will become very difficult for you. It's not very straightforward. That's why I said when you can use BlazeMeter plugin only for small recordings, maybe one or two requests.
So log is required, I mean, for the kind of baseline or something, right? For the
Yes,
very
exactly.
first
Right.
recording.
Yes, because see, okay, let's assume this way also. Like you created your script, you did everything, and later on your customer comes and says you that you did wrong. How will you prove, right? Are you getting? So how will you prove that this is where I started and this is what I got from the application and that I did? So you should have that
Mm.
log, the one which you started the recording. So with that log, you can clearly showcase that you can justify that, yeah, this is where I started. For that purpose also, that will help. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. And there's one more way, okay, of bringing the request into JMeter. Okay. So just click on inspect. This is the CURL method on network and just reload. And this is the request I have, right? So I'll right click on that request. I will just click on copy and I'll say copy as CURL. Okay. Now go to JMeter, go to tools and click on import from CURL and click just paste it. Okay. And click create test plan. Just close it. Are you seeing this new request, HTTP request? This one got created using that CURL method. So just what you need to do, just right click, copy as CURL, go here, then click on tools. Just observe here, okay? Here that now currently there is only one HTTP request. Import from CURL, paste it here at here, and then click on create test plan. Are you seeing the second one got added now? Right? So automatically that request headers, request body, request URL, method, everything got captured directly using that method. But here the problem is here you have to copy paste one by one, right? So as you do, like let's say this is then I click on fish, then I click on this one. So each one I need to do one by one. Then I click on this, add to cart, proceed to checkout. So each one by one I will have to copy and paste it into JMeter. So this one you can use, see, let's say due to some reason your recording is not working. Okay, like, and you cannot install this plugin also due to some client restrictions. Then you go with this URL method. Getting my point, all of you, when you can use URL method,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But it is one of the way where we can uh, go to DOC, and we can get only the whatever is required. Right.
Correct. Yes. That also. See, for example, let's say I recorded the whole, like there are some 20 steps in that. Okay. And out of that only, let's say 17th or 15th step didn't get recorded properly. In that case also you can use this method. Okay. Just to copy it. I mean like copy it, create the request and just drag it and drop it at that point wherever you need. That way also you can do, right? Use this CURL method. Right. Now, this way, once you record and all, at last you will let's say you have a recording of the whole ordering flow of the JPEG store. This one, okay? From launch, sign in, login, choose a product, choose a category, choose a subcategory, and all those. And you have also filtered off unwanted things and all, and you have kept only whatever is wanted. Okay. Now let me put one here. I'll just run one loop first. Okay. Okay. So this is the launch I have. Then I have the login. Okay. Okay, so launch, login, choose the product, and all this. Okay. Now, see these options. Okay, let me quickly go through these options. See, when you install JMeter for the first time, you will not have this undo redo option. Okay, this I have enabled. Due to some time constraints, I'm not able to show that now, but there are ways to enable that. Okay, you can enable this undo redo option in JMeter using the properties file. Okay, then this is the copy, cut, paste options. This is for enabling, I mean, like expanding and collapsing. Okay, you can expand and collapse your request. This is for running the test with pause and without pause. That I'll explain what it is. Okay, this is for clearing. Okay, clearing means like, let's say I have multiple listeners. Okay, listeners are nothing but all this. Okay, this results tree, summary report, these are some listeners what I have. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Right, so now here these are listeners, summary report, view results tree, these are listeners. Okay, we call it listeners. And now if you see this one, I have ran one loop. Okay, when you run a test, you what you do is you run multiple loops. Okay, now let's understand what this cleaning is. Okay, see now when I ran the loop, it came in both the listeners, results tree and both. Okay, so what I'll do is just let me rerun again. Okay, so here this is results tree and summary report. Okay, now let's say I want to clear only this one, the summary report only. So I click this first broom, no, that I clear. So results tree will still be there, but summary report is gone. But let's say I run once more. If I want to run all the listeners at once, then I click on the second option. So it will clear results tree, summary, both are gone. See, right? So it is for cleaning that broom is for. Okay, then this is for finding, search, and all those options. Okay, and this will show the time, right? For how long my test is running, how many users, right? 0/1. So 10 users, 20 users, 30 users, how many users are running, right? That value it will show. If any errors or something, it will show here. Some warnings also it will show, not only errors. Okay, warnings. Then there's something called a plugin manager. This you will not have when you download JMeter for first time. You'll have to do something to get this plugin manager. Okay, that also a bit of out of scope in this current time frame what we have. Okay, but yeah, that gets covered in depth in the course. Anyways, now coming to this one. Let me remove this. Now let's try to understand. Now this is the whole flow I have. This is a launch, then sign in and all those stuff. See, there is something called parameterization, okay, in JMeter. Parameterization is nothing but, see, what I'm doing is I am sending, like, let's say these are some parameters I have, like URL, path. Okay, now if I go to my request here, see, $URL, $path, $URL, any request I go, I have used just $URL. Now if I change it here, it gets changed everywhere. So that is called a parameter. Basically, parameterization helps you to define some values like a variable, okay, and use it in multiple places. That's called parameterization. There is a lot of things to that, to parameterization. It's not the end of the story. in a high level way, that is parameterization. Okay, so you have multiple elements to parameterize. One is user defined variables. The CSV dataset config is where what you do is like, let's say if I open this file, okay, so what I'm doing is this usernames.txt, right? So this is my data file of usernames and passwords. So when I'm running a test, I pick the usernames and passwords from this file using this CSV dataset config element. Okay, again, this is a way of parameters, because you see this is the username, this is the password, pwd, right? And that same parameter I will be using in login. See, dollar username and dollar password. So what will happen is when I run the test, these values gets picked up one by one. Okay, and based on what the test criteria and all what I set. Okay, now coming to, so that's parameterization. Then there is something called correlation also. So correlation is nothing but where you capture some value from the response and use it in some next subsequent some request. Okay, so for example, so see what I'm doing is in my orders, I need to check whether that order ID is coming or not, right? So let me run this once. Okay, so in confirm, when I confirm the order, I get the order ID, right? So what I'll do is I'll just switch to this view. So this order ID I get, right? This 1363. Now the same order ID I need to check when I click on, when I try to identify this my orders, right? That 1363 should be there. Now this 1363 is generating here, getting generated here. Okay, but I need to check it here. So are you getting the problem statement that I need to do? The number is getting generated in this confirm request, but I need to use that value. I need to here. But will it be always 1363 or it will keep changing as I order? Hello?
Yeah, it
Will
will
the order,
change.
that will change, right? So if I check for 1363 always, see, let's say in my orders, these assertions are basically a validation, okay, whether something is there in your response or not. Okay, so instead of this order ID, I will just give 1363. Okay, now if I go to my orders, okay, not 1363 because 1363 is already there, right? So give some other number. So I'll just give 1365. Okay, now you see the thing, okay, how it is happening. Now what I do is I will just run it twice, not once, okay, twice. So first my orders passed, second my orders failed. Why? Because first time I checked 1365, yes, it got generated because it came from this confirm, right? 1365. But second time, what will happen? In the confirm, it is 1366 this time. But still I am checking. What I am checking? Still I am checking 1365, right? But
6-5.
1365, yeah. So that's the reason, right? The second one failed, right? So now see, that's where the correlation comes into picture. Now, how do we do that? Again, it's a very big topic. Okay, so but in a high level way, so we use something called a regular expression extractor. Okay, this is one element in JMeter we use for correlation. So using regular expression extractor, so this is one regular expression we have. There are multiple different regular expressions based on what you need to capture. Okay, so using this regular expression, I capture, right, what is the order ID. So this is the order ID, right, which I'm capturing. So where is the order ID getting generated? In the confirm, right? So my regular expression extractor will be in confirm and it will be stored in the variable order ID. Now this variable, what I will do, I will use it here to check. So now how many ever I pass or how many ever loop I run. So specifically this loop I am saying, okay, not users. So I'm running it in multiple loop. Okay. So see, my orders will not fail or like, yeah, my orders will not fail because now every time it will pick what is the value of confirm. So let's say confirm is this, what it is 1367. So my orders got passed because 1367 is there. Similarly, confirm is 1368. My orders will pass because 1368 got picked up, right? So that's how the correlation works. So capturing something from the response and using it in the request of the next one. So that's correlation, correlating the dynamic values, and it's not very straightforward always. There are some catch here, here and there, the expression and all those stuff. Okay, which is a bit different topic. Okay, right. Um, now what we will do is now we have assertion, we have correlation, we have parameterization in the script. What we will do is we will run a test. Okay, so let's say I run this test for a minute. So how to run the test? Come here to the ordering. Number of threads, let's say I give 10. So 10 users, okay, they are doing this flow. Ramp up period is basically in how much time this 10 users should come to 10. Okay, so I will give 1 second. That means in 1 second, 10 users will start running. Or I can give 10. So when I give 10, 10 users will start running in 10 seconds. Okay, so every second, one user will get added. So that's the ramp up period. Okay. Now this one I'll keep it infinite, and in life specified thread lifetime I will give it 60. That means it will run for 1 minute and stop. Now why am I giving loop count infinite for duration 60? Or can I give some number here like 2, 3? What will happen if I give a number for the loop? So see
Only
what
for
happens.
three minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
though
three
you
many
run,
numbers it will run. Okay.
correct. So though you run it for 1 minute, after three loops it will stop. Though your test will be running, but your loop is completed, right? So that's why you keep it infinite. So JMeter will know after 60 seconds only I should stop. Okay, so you keep it infinite and then run the test. Now when you run the test, if you clearly see, you can see the various throughputs that you're achieving, how many orders are happening, and are you seeing some error rate in the confirm orders? Able to see for 10 users? That means few confirm orders are failing. Okay, so that's the meaning of that. And yeah, so basically this is a summary report which you get where you get the how much response time, like it is taking 15 milliseconds, launch is taking, login is taking 150 milliseconds, choose a product is taking 12 milliseconds, confirm order is taking 60 milliseconds, continue is taking 139 milliseconds, and all those stuff. Then throughput is 12 launch per second, 12 login per second, 12 choose a product per second, 12 confirm orders per second, right? All these things. Now let me add a listener called a simple data writer. Okay, and I will click on browse. Okay, I'll just keep result demo 3.jtl, one file I'll create. It's a .jtl file. Okay, remember, click on open. So basically I'm just creating a file, okay, in the simple data writer. Now what I'll do is I'll run this test again, click overwrite. So the test is running. Now the same thing, if you, now this test is running, one is you can monitor it here. But let's say you have some monitoring tool like AppDynamics configured already. Okay, this configuration I'm not able to show now in this small time frame. But yeah, so if we had more time, I would have shown it. Okay, the AppDynamics integration, how we do it. So AppDynamics is an APM tool, okay, a performance monitoring tool. Basically, you can see different like how basically, let's say these are the business transactions, what you're hitting and all, right? So those details you can see, the add to cart, how much response time it took, how what's the error rate. But and then if I go further inside, I can see more details. Like click on details, right? If I click on events, I can see any error events that happened and all those stuff. If I go to servers, and now if I click on, okay, not servers because we don't have a server now. So click on this JMeter demo, click on the node which we are interested in. Now you can see like what's the heap utilization currently automatically if any memory leak and all those. So a lot of things you can do, okay, using AppDynamics. Yeah, but AppDynamics is a paid tool. Okay, so you get a free trial to play around for 15 days. Okay, so which you can use to learn AppDynamics. So this is from the test which we ran, okay, the details, what you're getting. So let me put last 5 minutes. So see what, wherever, whichever transactions you saw errors, confirm. See, are you seeing in confirm orders, we are seeing 28 errors, right? Same thing with JMeter. Now, see, there's one more thing. JMeter also gives you an HTML report, okay, type of report you can generate. So for that, just go to this tools, go to generate HTML report, click on browse. Now this data, this wherever you store this file, right? This path you copy and give it here. This is the result file path, right? Which you saved into the simple data writer, right? You used and saved that your result, what the test run result you saved. User.properties file, you will find it in the bin folder of JMeter. Why you choose these things? It's a little in-depth story which we due to some constraints I'm not able to cover it now. Okay, then browse. I will just browse it to, let's say, report template, and I'll just create a folder HTML report. So basically this is where the report will get saved, okay, after you generate it. Click on open output directory and click on generate report. Now bigger your test, more time it will take to generate the report. Smaller your test, it will take less time to generate the report, okay. Based on what reports you are generating, it will take more or less. If it's a very long test, it will take more time. If it's a short test, it will take less time.
Actually, I have one query here. Sorry.
Yeah.
So in company, suppose for example, we do not have APM or like, I mean, they are not yet have the APM or we don't have the
Hmm.
license person. Can this
Yeah.
HTML report will be considered there?
Yeah. There's no other way, no. We have to do that only.
Let's see.
Okay. Right. So now if I go to let's say see, there are a lot of things to the stories. Okay, now here, as I said, due to some time constraints, I'm not able to go very in depth. But like for example, let's say the correlation parameterization, that sessions itself takes almost 3 to 4 days or 5 days of sessions. Okay, so it's such a big topic. Similarly, there are some things like bean shell samplers, bean shells, how you do that, right? That we have like there's one application which allows in JMeter for you to write some scripts and all. So there are various things to the story, okay? But in a high level way, whatever we have seen will actually make a foundation for you, okay, to build over it. So take it in that direction. So basically, all these things use your system resources. Okay, so you have to be like you should have proper amount of resources in your system to do this. Otherwise, when you run your test and all, you can add some LGs, remote LGs and all. It's basically we call the distributed test. Okay, so it's a different process of doing it. What I will do is I will share some good reference materials in the group, whichever I can. But obviously, there are far more things to these things. Okay, so don't stop it here. Okay, this workshop should prove just as a starting point for you. Okay, to just more work on it. So a report, something like this will get generated. Okay, based from your test, your summary, statistics, all those things will be there here. Similarly, charts, you will get some throughput graphs and codes per second, transactions per second, all those graphs you will get. So which you can utilize for your sharing the report with your customer or client and all those. Okay, this is the HTML report which will get generated. Now, see, the main important thing is there are a lot of things which we need to understand here in depth. Okay, now whatever we see is maybe it's just enough for you to just start off with, right? But there are a lot of things, like for example, there are various elements in JMeter. Okay, like the sampler, different sampler. Now currently we saw only the web services. Now what about if you want to test a DB, if you want to test a file, FTP protocol, if you want to test a file transfer, right? That's an FTP protocol. If it's a mail, it's an SMTP protocol, right? Various samplers. If it's a DB, what you need to test? How do you test a JDBC protocol, right? Where you directly test a SQL query. Then there are something called controllers. Basically, what are these controllers used for? Controllers are nothing but it will. These are the elements which control the way your request is getting executed, right? There are various controller. Till now, we used only transaction controller, right? In our scripts, there are loop controller, if controller, while controller, various other controllers for different purposes. Pre-processors, post-processors. Pre-processors are for processing your request before you hit. Post-processors are some processors which are used basically for processing your response, right? After you, that's why it's a post processor. Then assertions are basically, as you saw, we saw response assertion. Assertions are basically validators to validate various things when your test is running, because one or two requests you can test, but let's say I'm hitting thousands of requests, and out of that, let's say five are failing. Is it manually possible to identify that five requests which are failing? Is it possible? No, right? So that's where the assertions come into picture. So assertions will automatically check all the requests for you. So whichever it will fail, it will give you that, right? So similarly, timer. So what is think time, pacing? These are some topics which we need to understand in performance. Okay, when you're executing things, you need to understand what's pacing, think time. That's a different topic altogether. Then the again, test fragments are basically nothing, just comment and name you can put. Okay, config elements very important. Okay, CSV data set, HTTP header manager, cookie, cache manager. I know a person who lost his job because he didn't use this cookie manager and cache manager properly. So that's important. That important these elements are. Okay, which we need to understand. These config elements are very important. Now you will feel, oh, how he lost a job with just these two elements, okay, without not properly using it. Yes, there is a story behind it, okay, is a which is very important, okay. Then listeners. Similarly, if you see the listeners basically graphs and all, you will have various graphs and things, results tree graphs. So for example, let's say this is a response hits per second graph, okay. Let's say we run the test. Basically, it will plot that hits per second graph, okay, for you. These are all listeners, okay, various listeners. Now, this test which we ran is in the GUI mode, okay, using this graphical user interface of JMeter. There are ways to run the test using non-GUI mode also. So that's a non-GUI based test running, and which is more preferable when you run a long duration test. You don't use a GUI mode, you use a non-GUI mode. And now let's say I'm running a test with 100 users. At some point of time, my memory and my resources will get exhausted. Now, if I want to go beyond it, what should I do? So you're getting my point. Let's say 100 users I'm able to test using my CPU, whatever I have. But I need to test for 1,000 users. What you think might be the solution?
With through non-GUI mode.
Yeah, we will have to add more CPUs, right? More CPUs or more resources. So how do I do that? So basically, I can add remote machines, okay, to my JMeter. So on that remote machines, I can start multiple tests from this master machine, right? At the same time, I can execute tests at those IPs from my single master machine. So that's called a distributed load test. Again, it's a very big different topic, right? Altogether. Right. So this is all about JMeter in a nutshell, I will say. Very small nutshell, right? Because completing the whole JMeter and with the monitoring analysis, because there are a lot of things which we will have to cover, right? So, for example, when take the course like which currently is I take, right? It has Kubernetes, it has Prometheus, Grafana, AppDynamics, it has Jenkins, which where we see how you integrate JMeter with Jenkins. JMeter itself is around 25, 26, 20, around hours, right? We focus purely on JMeter, right? How to create a script, elements, various elements, correlation itself, various cases, right? Now we saw only one case, right? There are various cases where, so for all cases, this expression will not work, or this thing will not work. You will have to use various different things, right? Then what all you need to take care when you execute a test, various tests. Now here, if you see, can you can you run a stress test using this thread group? No, there are very different thread groups to do that. Can you run a spike test? Yes, maybe. But stress test and some other test you cannot run using these thread groups. There are multiple. So you need a plugin manager. What plugin manager is? What are this debug sampler? What is this? So there are a lot of stories behind it, right? But in a high level way, now we are good. Okay, at least we know why JMeter is used, how to quickly record something in JMeter. So at least in a basic way, you can go and do some hands-on and maybe self-brush it. But there are few things which you might feel very difficult, right? But yeah, so and I hope this 2 hours of workshop was a bit useful to all of you. So any questions, anyone? Final questions. Now I'll take some questions. I don't want to bombard with a
Yeah,
lot of data.
it was very helpful. The one last question from my side,
Yeah.
like usually how we consider like when we do that one user say concurrent, when we say one user concurrent, it is like or
Chances, sorry,
like
your
different.
voice, hmm, your voice is
Now
little
is it
breaking. Yeah, better,
now is
better.
it fine? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we do like one user and when we configure multiple users, how do we do that actually at high level, if we can say?
Sorry. You're saying like how do I configure multiple users? Is it?
Yes, 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 correct.
Yeah. So you add users here in the number of threads, like 20, 30. So that way you can increase the number of users.
But so in that case, do we need to okay here if you use only one login credentials, right? So will
Correct.
that also be considered the number of users, or for each number of users we have to put 10
No,
number
see,
of
for
credentials,
example,
login
see, when
credentials?
you're using 10 number of users, at least you should give some 100 logins, 100 username passwords,
Okay.
at least. Right? So that every time it's not that like a single user cannot order 10 orders. He can, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
realistically, it is not that proper, right? If you're ordering something, 10 users are ordering 100 orders or 200 orders, it might be not that correct, right? So give different login IDs, right? And there is something to throughput in this. Okay, we need to understand that. Ultimately, it's not the users, but the throughputs, right? That matter. Now, if you see here, when I run a test, I'm using 10 users, okay? But what is the like number of orders getting processed? 3 orders per second,
Yeah.
right? Are you able to see that difference?
Yes.
Now you see, just I'll run the test, okay? I'm just stopping it now. So how many orders per second is happening?
15.
Yeah. So and number of users 10. So there is no connection between the number, the throughput and the number of users that you control actually using your script. But ultimately, your client is interested in the throughput because how many orders per second is happening, right? So
Okay.
this is
So
little
if you use,
complicated. Yeah.
okay. So for example, if you have one user, I mean, with say 50 users with same login credentials, then throughput
Mhm.
will be more. If you have multiple login credentials, say 50 login credentials, at least 10 login credentials, throughput can be less. Right? No? That's what you are
Yeah. So
saying, sir.
it's a little complicated topic, right? You need to
Okay.
understand a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Any
Okay.
questions? Anything? Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Then thank you all, and thanks for joining the sessions. It was nice speaking to all of you. Uh, and whenever you get any doubts or any questions in performance, JMeter or anywhere, please feel to get in touch with me. Right, you can DM me directly on WhatsApp. If at all I'm able to solve it through chats and all, I will help you out. Okay. Yeah. Thank you
Sir,
all, and have a
Yeah.
sir,
It
one
was
great
question.
really
day.
helpful, sir.
Can
Hello?
I
It was
get
nice
your name,
presentation.
please?
Sir, will you going to
Hello?
continue with same course?
Hello?
Hello.
Actually, my course starts on Tuesday. So you can attend the demo sessions, okay, which is happening on Tuesday. It will be there for 4 days. The demo sessions,
Okay.
I think 3 4 days. So you can continue attend the demo sessions. It will be because at least it will be better than this 2 hour sessions, right? Because you will have around 5 hours of sessions. So there I will cover far more things compared to this. Okay.
And what
So
would be
please
the
plan to
timing?
join me. Yeah, it will be
What?
9 p.m. IST to 10
Okay.
p.m. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Fine,
And
sir. Fine.
So,
your name?
yeah, it's Vishnu. And yeah, so let me, yeah, stop the recording.